on the web at theschmidt.org.
Computer kind of glitched there. Hey, good morning. Mark Lundin here at WOJB. It's just 6 minutes after 8, and we are into the period of our next news hour of just local and regional news. And we are live on Facebook and YouTube. So if you want to see what's happening, I got some visuals for you besides the video of me sitting here in the studio. I may not be much to look at, but you could look at the flowers on my shirt and think how nice of a day it is out there, even though it's raining. It is January 16th, and we have rain happening out there. That's kind of weird to get your head around. Right now we're at 33, and the weather reports say we're going to get up to 36 today. There's even one model here from Wonderground that says we're going to have 2.9 inches of combined rain and snow. Um, so I don't think it's all going to be snow. I think most of that's just going to be wetness. And looking at the radar from Wonderground right now, kind of Hayward and Cable are kind of in this wall area, even Gordon and Hawthorne up north of us there. But if we go over east, we're looking at Park Falls. They kind of have a sleep color to the radar. And then down to the south of us in Schooner and Shell Lake and Cumberland, Rice Lake, Ladysmith, you got rain coming. And that is coming north to us. So if you are north of Hayward and you don't have rain yet, it's coming out of Illinois and Iowa. There's even some storm activity down in Waterloo, Iowa, and that whole massive part of that rain and snow is coming our way. And that's what the forecast is: rain pretty much all day long. And even these early morning hours, since we're still at 33 degrees, it's a chance that rain will freeze when it hits the ground or on top of that compressed snow in our local um, local roads, I should say, our country side streets and back roads. They will be slippery, so be careful at the stop sign. Be careful on the hills, on the roads that have pretty good hill activity. That will be that will be it. Tonight, again, rain and snow, and then a wintry mix around with a low around 31. And then Tuesday, a chance of rain with a wintry mix possible, 50% chance of that. And then chance of snow around 8 to 11, and then rain and snow after 11 with a high near 35. This is on Tuesday. Tuesday night, mostly cloudy with a low around 20. And then Wednesday, mostly cloudy with a high of 29. And we kind of stay in that, upper 20s range. Thursday, they're saying 30 with some snow likely. And Friday, 24. Oh, this is kind of not typical temperatures. I still above average on that. And, so that's it for the weather. Would like to show you a new addition to what we're doing here at WOJB. This is from Marlowe Minutes. Amber Marlowe does some Marlowe Minutes for the Lacoudere Ojibwe University, and we'll play a little bit of that here, and you can see it on our live stream as well.
Amber Indigenicas on this episode of the Marlowe Minutes. We are so excited to start the spring semester 2023 with the brand new sign, Le Coudray Ojibwe University. So excited. Stay tuned. Lots more in this episode. Happy New Year from everyone in the Extension Department. Have you seen their new offerings? They have everything scheduled out for 6 months. A lot of things to get you in physical shape and have some fun activity. We have powwow sweat, we have hoop dancing, we have Tai Chi, and yoga. So please check out the Extension calendar and get registered for all of those really great classes. Time for announcements, and we have a lot of them. To start off the semester in the best way possible, we are doing a tobacco offering ceremony on Monday at 8:45 a.m. That is in the main campus auditorium and on Zoom. So please check the flyer for the Zoom number and join us. Each outreach site may also do additional activities or food, talking circles, things like that. Check with your site for that information. Also next week, there is the College Ready Refreshers. So if you missed orientation or you just need an update on Canvas or something with technology, please check out those refreshers. They're on the 17th, 19th, 24th, and 26th. There's lunch provided and $25 gift card. So if you need more information, please check with Wes Wilson at wwilson@lco.edu. We also have an AHEC informational meeting on Wednesday at noon. AHEC is the American Indian Higher Education Consortium, and that is the group of all tribal colleges across the nation. There is a student conference every year, and this year it is back in person after a 3-year hiatus, and all the tribal college students come there. They compete in all different events, from hand games to business plan writing to beadwork to volleyball, archery, you name it. So if you are interested in going to that conference, March 4th to the 7th, it's in Albuquerque, New Mexico. So please come on Wednesday, learn about it, get more information, get the application. Applications are due on February 1st. All travel expenses are covered by the university. Check it out. Oh, God.
Here they're just showing bloopers from Marlowe Minute.
Check out. Tune in next time for more Marlowe Minutes. Gigababa Man.
That's great, Amber Marlowe at the LCO Ojibwe University, and fun to see that on WOJB's live stream. So we've just been live streaming a little bit. I can't do it during the music. That's because I guess YouTube and Facebook don't like that, even though we're a radio station and we have the copyright license. You know, we pay for the license to play music over the air, and we also play music on a streaming service at wojb.org, and you can go there. There's a player built into that website, and then there's also the TuneIn app that you can download for your Apple or Android device and catch us there when you're on the go. And then finally, you can also use your smart speaker to listen to WOJB. I have a few announcements that we can do before I take a break into the music, and then we'll get some other things taken care of. But first, let me do this. I want to thank our underwriters. Support for WOJB comes from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, individual members like you, and business underwriters, including the Le Coudray Ojibwe University, a nonprofit tribal university focused on academic quality, community engagement and service, and the preservation of Ojibwe cultural teachings and knowledge. Course offerings include master's, bachelor, and associate degree programs and specialized certificates, with locations in Bad River, Lac du Flambeau, and Red Cliff. Information is available at lco.edu or 715-634-4790. Also, support comes from North Crossing Foods, a natural and bulk food store located on West Green Valley Road, across from the State Patrol in Spooner. Featuring specialty items including their own homegrown produce, local and regionally produced food products, dairies and meats, and a wide selection of sweets and candies. Plus, more than 25 different coffees are roasted on site, and barista drinks are served daily. Open Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., and they can be reached at northcrossingfoods.org or 715 635 0084. And we thank our underwriters. If you are a business and you want to be mentioned here on WOJB as a supporter and underwriter, just go to our website and click on Our Supporters, and then there's a link there for business underwriters. Or after 9, if you want to give us a call here at the station, 715 634 2100. I'd be glad to help you out with that. Couple of announcements. The Boys and Girls Club at LCO will be closed tomorrow, and I think they're closed today, in order for the staff to attend funeral services here at LCO. The club will resume normal club hours on Wednesday. High in Plain Sight is the title of a virtual drug awareness seminar that's going to be held Tuesday, tomorrow as well, at 5:30, from 5:30 to 7 at the Seven Winds Conference Center. This will be a virtual drug awareness seminar that's open to everyone. Early identification and prevention training for drug abuse in our community will be the topic. So put that on your calendar for tomorrow. Again, High in Plain Sight, a virtual drug awareness seminar for early identification and prevention training for drug abuse in our community. Tomorrow night, 5:30 to 7 at the Seven Winds Conference Center. The LCO Elder Center is hosting a bingo game Thursday on January 19th from 1 to 3 o'clock. Doors open at 12, so you can get your cards in place and get your multiple cards. Transportation is available for this bingo night. If you want to give Bob a call at 715 699 3529. 715 699 3529 if you need a ride to get to the bingo Thursday night, January 19th, 1 to 3 p.m., and the doors open at noon. Also, coming up tomorrow night, lots of things tomorrow night, my goodness. The Wisconsin Historical Society is hosting Ojibwe storytelling with different people that they're hosting on a virtual thing for the whole month. But tomorrow night at, what time is this at? 7 o'clock, there's going to be a storytelling webinar with Le Couture's own Valerie Barber. She is a Lake Superior Chippewa Indians elder and Ojibwe language teacher, a veteran, and this will be tomorrow night from 7 to 8. In the Ojibwe culture, winter is a storytelling season, the Historical Society says, celebrating by featuring Ojibwe storytellers in this 4-part virtual series every Tuesday evening through the month of January. Advance registration is required, so if you just Google the Wisconsin Historical Society, right on their front page, you'll see the pictures of the 4 authors Ojibwe storytellers on that page, and you'll see a picture of Valerie there as well, and a link to register for this so you can see that. Again, tomorrow night, Ojibwe storytelling with our own Valerie Barber from 7 to 8 on the internet. That one's pretty far ahead. Just to remind you, this Friday, Perry Designs will be at the LCO Boys and Girls Club, and they will be offering haircut services for $10 for all youth and teens. This is every Friday from 5 to 8 at the Boys and Girls Club. It is first come, first serve, or you can give them a call to schedule a time. And for more information, 715 634 4030 is that. All right. I think, let's see here. Can I get a word of the day from Mr. James Volkovich? Let's see. Get this lined up, go to that, and we're going to do that. And all right, I got lots of buttons pushing here. Here's Mr. Volkovich with the Ojibwe word of the day here on WOJB.
Aho, buju in den we marken dok. Anin, kagigabo and dish in the cause. Mikanak and do them. Mikanak wajawing and dunchaba. Beshoka kabakong. Inda. Ah, pichigomi gwech bizendawe. And what I said there was a traditional Ojibwe protocol greeting. I said, hello, all of my relatives. My name is Kage Gabo. I'm Turtle Clan. I'm a descendant of Turtle Mountain. I live close to Minneapolis today. And I wanted to begin by thanking you all for tuning in and listening to this live Ojibwe Word of the Day. This is something I look forward to doing on Thursday nights. And whenever you take a few moments out of your day to talk about, to discuss, to listen to Anishinaabe, Ojibwe, Chippewa, Nakaway, Soto, language, culture, history, spirituality, linguistics, philosophy, ethics, I'm incredibly glad for that. I'm incredibly grateful for it. Thank you so much for listening. And today's word of the day, I almost felt like I had signs to speak about this particular topic. It's one I do at least once a year with you all. And, you know, it was part of a chapter of my book that I was editing this morning, as well as part of a conversation. And, you know, the conversation part was when I was asked about what I speak about. And, you know, when I thought about it, it came up in 4 points. One was that Gedinawendaman, we are all related. And in that relationship, there is interdependence and interconnection. We need one another to live, to survive, and everything we do affects one another. And that there is a way that we can live with one another, Minopamatsuan, the good life, a life of peace, a life of balance, a life without conflict with our relatives. And we know how to seek out the good life. That's a life with Sakiyat doing, with that compassionate, unconditional love for one another, with Debwewan, with truth, with Kwakwatizuan, with virtue, with righteousness, with honesty, with Dabasengdazuan, with humility, with Manajiat doing, with respect for one another, to acknowledge the sanctity and sacredness of each other's lives, to go easy on one another, with Zungade Ewan, with strength of heart, with courage, with bravery, and with Nebuakaman, with wisdom and intelligence. And the chapter I was editing today, it dealt with Gedinawendaman. We are all related. So I don't know if tonight's word of the day even yet is Gedinawendaman. We are all related. Or Indinawe Maganadok, all of my relatives. And let's look at both of those words. They're obviously related, no pun intended. Gedinawendaman, Inawenduak, means they are related to one another. It's a verb. It's an action. that Gedinawain Demin. That is, we inclusively are related to each other, rather than the exclusive use of that verb. We exclusively are related to each other. We're speaking about everyone. We're talking about all of our relatives. Now, when this becomes a noun, it will become Indinawe Maganadok. Indinawe Magan is my relative. Indinawe Ma is I am related to him or her. Indinawe Magan is my relative. Now, when we put that edok at the end, we are addressing everyone. It's evocative. It's a linguistic term. It means you are addressing. In this case, a group of people rather than a singular being. Indinawe Maganadok. In this way, we are speaking to all of our relatives. We are addressing all of our relatives. So, for example, if someone gets up and speaks to a room full of people and says Indinawe Maganadok, they are addressing them all as relatives. Now, in a spiritual sense, you are addressing the entire universe as relatives. And, when I think about that, it's very profound. It's very deep. It's incredibly important to note that our ancestors, who knows how many thousands of years ago, through ceremony, through Goshamoin, through fasting, recognized that they were in relationship. That the reason they were here and that they existed was because they were related. I figured out the reason, the why. Why am I here? Because I'm related. Because I'm inextricably interconnected to all of my relatives. Because they always knew I would be here. So it was no longer why am I here, it became how. How do I live with all of my relatives? Now, the moment I realized that in the language, it really struck me. Because I think what they're trying to say here is we have this word nin, I, me, myself. Now, when you translate nin into Latin, it becomes ego, the ego. It's a very human condition. We can all become self-centered. We can all be egocentric. Some of us even egotistical. If it goes unchecked for too long, we can become egomaniacal, where we are just looking out for ourselves. And when you use a word like that in everyday conversation, when you're using it in ceremony, in prayer, what you're saying is that this I, this me, this myself, doesn't exist. I am inextricably interconnected to all of my relatives. They're inextricably interconnected to me. This idea of I, me, myself, it's an illusion. It's a myth. I am all of my relatives. One of the most profound teachings I heard on that was that they would reserve that term nin in a spiritual sense, in a prayerful sense, that I, me, myself, that could be used by the Manadu, by the spirit, by the mystery, by the creator. Only that one could say I, excluding you. Human beings can't. We are all of our relatives. And all of our relatives are us. And in that interconnection, they realize that I'm not just related by DNA. I'm not just related by familial ties, by those human relationships that bind us together. I have other relationships. I am related. I have relationship to the Nabi, to the water. I have relationship to the Oasiak, to the four-legged beings. They're feeding me. They're clothing me. They're sheltering me. They're giving me life. I certainly can't live without them. I can't live without the Benicia, without the winged ones, the birds, without the Giguyag, without the swimmers, without the fish. I I certainly can't live without the Mittaguk, without the trees. Their branches are giving me fire, their bark is giving me a lodge. They're giving me the very oxygen I need to breathe. The Asanik, the stones, we refer to them as the grandfathers. Who do we stand on when we stand on the earth? Those beings who came before us. We reserve that familial affection for. We give them that family term, my grandfather, the stones. And of course, the Nibi, the water, is giving life to all of it. And he realizes, and the Anishinaabe, the indigenous person, realizes, I have a relationship to each one of them. Each one becomes a relative by relationship. And the moment you realize that, you acknowledge that, you treat each one of those beings differently. You treat them as a relative rather than a resource, rather than a thing, rather than an it. They are a relative. And I think whenever we use a term like that, it should bring all of that depth with it. That spiritual knowledge that's been passed down for thousands upon thousands of years, millennia upon millennia, that you are related, that you have relationships to everyone on the earth. And on that note, I think it's important to note that we have found a way to live in peace with all of those relatives, and that is seeking out the good life. That is that life of peace and balance. That's Minopamatsuan. And to think about how we act with all of our relatives, it shows us who we truly are in our relationship with them, how we treat them, how we act towards them. That in a moment of humility, Dabasen is when we don't exalt ourselves above all of our relatives. We are all of our relatives. We acknowledge the sanctity of their lives. We have respect for them. We go easy on them. We're going easy on ourselves as well then. Seeing there's no difference here. To have that kwakwadezu, that honesty, that virtue, that righteousness, that correctness of living. Truth. To acknowledge the truth of that. One of those grandfather teachings. To speak from the heart to all of our relatives. To have the strength of heart to do it. To be a good relative. To treat them all with that unconditional, compassionate love that emerges from within all of us. And ultimately, that shows us how to act respect with great wisdom, with great intelligence. It shows us how to lead our lives properly. Our lives with balance. A balance that brings peace with it. Minopamatsu. And so, as we're beginning this new year, this particular message that I'm trying to impart is that to remember that you do have relationships. And even if you don't intellectually acknowledge them, you're still inextricably interconnected to all of your relatives. You still are all of your relatives, and all of your relatives are you. And so, to think that if I can treat them, again, with that love, with that kindness, with that respect, with humility, with virtue, with righteousness, with honesty, to be courageous for them and with them, to have strength of heart, to speak the truth to all of your relatives. And ultimately, you lead a life of wisdom. You lead a life where you bring peace and balance to all of them. And on that note, I'm going to moment and say, that's all I'm going to say this evening. I'm going to take a moment and say, and tell you, thank you all so much for listening. Please feel free to like and share this video. And all of you, please do take care. And the Spirit shall decide when we see each other again.
Man, thank you, James, for that Ojibwe word of the day. That was probably more than just the word of the day. There was a teaching of the day that is so true for us all And where'd that come from? That's probably the video in the back. Stop it. Uh, there we go. That's the computer screen. So anyways, that was from Mr. James Volkovich. And maybe I'll have him on the program here in the morning someday live. I'll do a live conversation with James and have that there. All right, we are going to end our live stream broadcast. And thank you, Charles, for Charles Taidi saying good morning on our live stream here at WOJB. Same with Lance Como. Thank you for that. And most recently, Mr. Harrison. Hey, good to see you. And well, I don't see you. I just see your Facebook icon here. But glad to have you listening here at WOJB. And you are listening to WOJB 88.9 FM, listener supported community radio from the Ray. And I'm Mark Lundeen here behind the microphone. We're going to go into some music, which means I have to end my live stream because otherwise Facebook and YouTube are going to throw their arms up and say, wait a minute, you can't play that stuff on our platform. Maybe I'll find a RTMP stream server software and I can do it here at ourselves at WOJB. All right, we're going to end